What's up? What's up? Hey, y'all. Happy Friday. Okay. As always, I am excited to be with you today. And so today we are talking about self-worth. So I want to talk about how to elevate your self-worth if that's an area that you need to focus on. And so before I get started, welcome everybody. If you're new here, my name is Onjeinikab. I'm also known as the unmothered coach, and I help women who have lost their mothers and had difficult relationships with their mothers overcome emotional trauma, find their voice, reclaim their power so they can have the lives they deserve. And I'm also here to help you increase your self-worth if that is something that you need to work on today. So I just have some high-level tips for you. Not going to get too detailed, but hopefully some things that will help you. Okay, so also, if you haven't been here before, I am the author of this book, and the book is called Unmothered, A Daughter's Guide to Acceptance, Healing, and Renewal. And I wrote the book to help women like myself who had those difficult relationships with their mothers. And so in the book, there are 9 steps to healing, and it walks you through everything from shifting your mindset to acceptance, through grief and forgiveness, and into renewal. And so the first part of renewal is self-renewal. And so when I break it down in my coaching program, that is the very first module. And so when it comes to renewing yourself, the first thing you have to do is love yourself. And so it's easy to say you have a high self-worth, and it's easy for people to tell you, oh, you should know your worth. But when you don't know it and when it's low, you have to have some ways to increase it. And so the very first step is love yourself first. You have to practice loving yourself first. And that can be difficult because for many of us growing up, we were not taught to love ourselves. We might have been called names. We might have had our self-esteem trampled, crushed, told we couldn't do things, told, we were stupid, whatever. Several of those things happened to me. And so I understand if that is your story. And so sometimes it's hard to love yourself because you didn't get that love. And so you don't even know what that looks like or feels like. All you know is the negativity. And so it's something that you have to be intentionally focused on, and you have to work on it. It's not going to just, happen overnight for most people. It's something that you have to put some steps in place, put some new practices in place that can help you begin to love yourself. And so self-love is not just like, spa treatments and going to events and things like that. It really is how you see yourself and how you speak to yourself and how accepting you are of yourself. And so that means, you have to allow yourself to be you and be okay with that. So that's really what we're talking about. Like, no matter what your flaws are, no matter what your shortcomings are, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But the very first step is accepting who you are right now, how you are, and loving yourself and saying, my worth is within me. It comes from God. I am already valid to be here. I can be here just like anyone else. We all have different gifts, and you just speak to yourself that way and begin to reprogram your thinking. Because that's what it takes when you have had a lifetime of someone telling you that, you're black, you're ugly, or you can't do this, or you're never going to do that, or you're dumb, or you're not as smart as your sister or your brother or this one or that one. And this is real stuff that happens. And so when that's what's in your head, your self-esteem can be very low, your self-confidence can suffer, and that will affect your self-worth, how you see yourself. If you see yourself as worthy of having whatever it is that you want, it will be affected by what you have embedded in your self-conscious. And so you have to work to intentionally reverse that. Okay, so step one is love yourself first and allow yourself to be who you are. And then step two is to learn yourself better. And that just means to begin to take time with yourself. Time is a valuable thing. And when you can give it to yourself, that is a true show of how important you are. And so you have to do it for yourself first. You can't expect other people to validate you and to make you feel worthy and to make your value increase. You have to have it for yourself. Because when other people aren't around, or when no one is praising you or saying anything, what are you going to do then? So I need you to know that your worth is already there. You just have to understand that it is and realize that it is not attached to what other people say to you. It is not attached to how other people treat you. It is first attached to how you see yourself and how you treat yourself. Boundaries do come into play as far as what you will and won't allow, how you want people to talk to you. But to get to that, the first part is loving yourself and then learning yourself. So by learning yourself, I mean you have to know what your triggers are. What are the things that get you riled up, get you upset? Just begin to take time with yourself and allow that to reveal itself to you. Pay attention in certain situations to how you react, to what your thoughts are, to what your responses are. And don't be ashamed. Everybody has triggers. Everybody has things that rub them the wrong way and that, can get under their skin, or that can bring out the ugly or the worst or whatever it is, or can make them very sad or down or blue. And so it's important that you know who you are. Because not only is it important for you to know, it's important for you to know so that when other people try to push your buttons or when they're doing things, you're aware of that. So you don't want other folks to know your buttons and your triggers better than you do. So take some time and pay attention to how you're reacting in certain instances. And then the next thing is, don't just look at the negative things like, what makes you act out, but look at what excites you. What makes you happy? What makes you smile? Is it hobbies? What experiences do you like to do? Are you like a hot air balloon type of girl, and you like heights and all that kind of stuff? Is it dancing? Is it roller skating, running? What are the things that make you come alive? What types of jobs do you like? So take it into the career area as well. Look at what excites you and what drives you. What makes you feel good about yourself? All of that. And it's not just like what makes you happy, because I think we use that term a lot, and like, what's going to make you happy. But I think it's a better way is to approach it is to what are the other feelings besides happiness? What are the other things you're feeling when you're enjoying yourself, or when something is happening that's fun? So pay attention. You can even write these things down, because it'll help you to, start to journal and put it on paper so that you can kind of see who you are, because you're learning yourself better. And so just understand that the time that it takes to get to know you is worth it. You are worth the time. You are worth your own time and your own intentionality to get to know yourself, because it may not have happened before. It may be something that you never thought to do, and nobody ever took time to really get to know you, or to ask you, what you like and what you don't like, or to acknowledge when they've done something wrong to upset you. So maybe, none of those feelings or anything have ever been validated for you. It is important that you do it for yourself. And you deserve that time to do it. And take the time that you need to discover yourself and learn yourself better. It's important to your self-worth. How are you going to have a high value if you don't even know who you are? That's hard to do. It's hard to do. So take the time and get to know yourself. Take yourself on some dates. I've heard some people say that that's what they do. They take themselves somewhere. It can be as simple as, okay, I'm going to go to the bookstore and I'm going to look for something that, like a self-help or self-improvement or whatever it is. Or I'm going to look for something for pleasure. Something that I'm going to read that's just fun for me. Take yourself on some dates. It doesn't all have to be about spending money necessarily. But allow yourself to sit with yourself. And, sometimes even when it comes to putting time into yourself, even, like changing your appearance can be helpful. When I was a little girl and I would get sick, I hated being sick because I know everybody does, but you couldn't do certain things. Your time is all messed up. You just got to be in the bed. And so when I was a little girl and I would get sick, after like the first or second day, I would get up and I would comb my hair. I would make sure I had a nice bath or shower, and I would get myself dressed, even though I was sick and I wasn't going anywhere. And I remember my mama actually said something to me one day. She's like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting dressed when you're sick?" And I told her that I felt like if I, clean myself up and dress myself up, that maybe I would feel better. And it would work. And so I remember being in the mirror and she's having this conversation with me. And this was one of the times that she was not critical. And she actually said, I might try that. And y'all, I'm telling you, it works. And so I think it will work now, even for us as adults. Sometimes you got to put on some clothes. I've been experimenting with makeup this year and I've been enjoying it. So sometimes you got to, elevate your appearance, because that can also bring you up. You got to try. This is you we're talking about, and you are very important. So put the time in that it takes. So if that means, maybe you want to put on a couple, some earrings and do your hair, whatever it is, or take the sweatsuit off and put on a shirt or a blouse or even some jeans, whatever it takes. Give yourself the time, because that kind of thing can also help improve your self-worth to yourself, for yourself. Okay, so we're talking about what it looks like to you. Self. All right, so let's keep going. So first I said you must love yourself first. Second, you have to learn yourself better. And third, you need to openly discuss your needs and your wants. So what is it that you want? What do you want out of life? How do you want your life to look? What do you desire? What do you deserve? You need to start talking about that. It's not like you need to go out bragging and telling other people what you're going to have, what you're going to do for self. So like I said, journaling is very powerful. It's positive to do. And so do it for yourself and begin to say, okay, this is how I want relationships to look. This is what I need in a relationship. And here's what I'm willing to give, because they're reciprocal, right? It's a back and forth thing, give and take when it comes to relationships. It's not all one way. And so sit down and openly discuss that with yourself. Admit to yourself what it is that you really want. If you want someone that shows affection and, that listens more, then say that. If you want someone that every day is an adventure and y'all going here and there, then say that. But I think it's very important. It's very important to sit down and identify that for yourself and talk about what you have to offer others. And again, we're journaling this out, or we're speaking this in the atmosphere. This is not a conversation you need to be having with someone else. You're going to have this conversation on paper or with yourself first, so that you can openly understand what you need and what you want. Think about who you align with. When it comes to friendships and things like that, who do you align with? You start to look at those relationships. How do you want to parent? Not how were you parented, how things went for you. How do you want to show up? So you have to openly talk about all of that, because it gives life and value by doing that. It says, hey, I am important enough that this is something that I need to spend some time looking at, and this is something that I need to analyze and make sure that it's going down the way I want it to. Okay? So ask yourself how you want to live. You want to struggle? Do you want the struggle life? Do you want to be wealthy? Do you want, and wealth doesn't always mean just money, by the way. It can be your surroundings. It can be the richness of your relationships and your family experiences, those things. But how do you want to live? Do you want to be like a pauper? Do you want to have the struggle life? Say what you want. It's okay. Give it a voice and give yourself permission to dream, to go after those things. Because when you say you have permission, you're going to understand that you are not just anyone. You're not mediocre and you're not average. You are excellent and you deserve excellent things. And this is how you begin to talk about yourself. And this is how you frame your ideas to improve and increase and elevate your self-worth. It is not going to happen overnight. It does take practice and it does take work. But if you want your self-worth to increase, then here are some things that you can do. All right. So number 4 is discuss any areas of change that you wish to make for yourself, that you wish to make. I'm not talking about things that people say to you. I want you to do a self-analysis and say, all right, I do love myself and I accept myself. I know that I'm not perfect. I know everyone has flaws. I'm learning more about myself and I'm beginning to understand. I'm being open and honest about the things that I want and I need. But what are some areas that I want to grow in? What are some areas that I want to look at a little bit deeper and maybe make some changes? This could be with your health. This could be with your career. This could be in relationships. This could be your behavior when it comes to some of those triggers. This could be where you live, like your location. Maybe you don't want to live in that city, that state anymore, that country. We can't go to Mars and other places just yet, so we're going to keep it to the global level. What do you want your lifestyle to look like? Do you love working a 9 to 5 because you like the routine and you don't mind working for someone else and you like the steady income or whatever? Or do you want something that's more like an entrepreneur type of role, or something where you're doing your own thing, or where you have more flexibility? Think about all these things and if you need to make changes there. It will help you with your self-worth because you'll see that you are worthy of having the new things, the better things. And even if it means you have to make some changes or work on yourself. And I know exercise is a big one for many of us in health. But if you want to eat better, decide that, okay, maybe I'm going to spend a little bit more money on the organic things. And they do cost money, let me tell you. Or maybe I'm going to, cook more for myself. That actually saves you money. So if you're going to cook more for yourself, that's a change that you want to make. So every time we say the word change doesn't mean that it's negative, okay? But I want you to think about the things that you want to change. Now, if by chance you have heard from other people in the family or friends or whatever, and they're like, okay, when you do this, this upsets me, or this upsets everybody, and you want to consider some of the things that they've brought to you, it's okay to do that. Don't be afraid. Sometimes we do have things we need to work on. But I'm just saying, look at it from your perspective first. I don't want it to be the critical eye of others, because that's all we've ever known and all we've had to deal with from our mothers. When your mama is critical of you, it makes it really, really hard to change your perspective. And so I don't want that to be the first way you approach the changes. I want you to try to look internally and just, think about what things you want to work on. All right. And then the last tip I have for you today to elevate your self-worth is to celebrate yourself for being here. Not your successes, not necessarily, you did this or you did that, not how much money you have in the bank. I don't believe that those things are really your self-worth. Because you came here worthy. You just somehow lost sight of that, or no one ever built it up for you. And in the case of our mothers and our foundation, it wasn't laid and it wasn't firm when it needed to be. And so now you have to celebrate yourself that you're actually here. You're still here. You have not given up hope yet. And that right there is fire. It's fire that you haven't given up hope yet. Because that means that you can do another thing. You got another move. You can do a different thing tomorrow. Tomorrow is a brand new day. It's not over. Story is not written. It's not a wrap yet. And so you have time to scale that thing all the way up. You have time to develop that gift. You have time to go for those dreams. Go for it all. Because what's going to happen? What's the worst thing that can happen? Okay, you fall on your face. You make a mistake. But you're going to learn so much in the process. But on the flip side, if you don't do anything, if you don't take any risk, and if you don't, go for it, and if you just sit there, then you can guarantee that things are not just going to come to you like that. That rarely, rarely happens. And so if you want to take charge and elevate your self-worth, celebrating yourself is very important. Just remember that it is not easy just being here. It's not easy just existing. And so if that means to celebrate yourself and to be able to move forward and to continue to have that hope, if that means you need support, then get the support. That can be, groups of people that also want to work on self-confidence, self-esteem, and high self-worth. That can be groups where the people are already doing the things that you want to do. Like people will say, get in a room with people that are doing what you want to do, or they're doing better than you, because that helps to elevate you. That helps you to see, okay, they can do it, so I can do it too. So if you need that kind of help, if you need, like therapy or counseling, get the support that you need. Find outlets or whatever it takes so that you can continue to have that hope. But celebrate that you are here right now, and you are on it, and you are going to move forward. All right? So those are the tips I have for you today about elevating your self-worth. Let's run them back real quick. So number 1 is love yourself first. That is first and foremost. Love yourself, because you can't expect somebody else to do that for you and give that to you and to tell you all these wonderful things if you don't even believe it. So you got to love yourself first and really, really know that it is okay for you to be here. Your worth it comes from God. It's already there. It's already in you, the same as everybody else. Okay, so love yourself first. Accept who you are and be yourself. Number 2, learn yourself better. Take time with yourself and know that you're important and you deserve that time. And learn who you are, what makes you tick, what makes you go, what gets you upset, all those things. Number 3, openly discuss your needs and your wants. You matter. And what you want matters. And how you want to live matters. And all of that helps to change your self-worth. So talk about the things that you want so that it's not like you feel ashamed or you feel like you can't have them. No, you're worthy of them and you can have it. It is okay. So talk openly about it. Don't be shy. Number 4, discuss any areas of change that you want to make. Okay? So you do the self-assessment and decide, are there things that I could work on? Are there things I want to learn? Are there changes I need to make in my health, in my diet, in my career, and in my location, how I'm living? All right? And then number 5 is to celebrate yourself just for being here, for making the effort, for trying, and for not giving up. All right? So those are the tips I have for you today. I am going to be talking more about increasing your self-worth because it is key when it comes to renewal. And it is, like I said, the first part of that. And so I want to talk about it more. I spend a lot of time talking about dealing with the mama drama. I know. I spend a lot of time talking about how to overcome that and how to accept that and how to grieve that and who you need to forgive and forgiving yourself. But it's also helpful to know that spirit that drives you is a game changer. It is a game changer. And so I'm going to talk more about that, like in the coming weeks and things, because I want us to begin to be empowered and feel empowered and walk in that. Because the mind is such a powerful thing. And really that's all it is. It's like the mind, soul, body, and spirit connecting and then improving the self-worth. So we're going to talk more about it. All right. But until then, I want to let you know that you can DM me if you have questions or comments. One-to-one coaching is open. The group program is not open right now. I am going to open it back up in March, but one-to-one coaching is still open. One-to-one coaching is a 6-week program where you work individually with me and I walk you through all the steps from mindset, acceptance, grief, forgiveness, and into renewal, which has 3 parts. And so if you're interested in that, you can go to the link in my bio and get on my schedule. I have some free consultations up there, so you can set one up with me. I would be happy to talk with you and see if I can help you. All right. Well, I hope that everyone is having a good Friday, and I hope that you're excited about the weekend. If you are celebrating the Lunar New Year, Happy New Year to you. And I will see you guys next week. All right. Bye.